And thank you very much for joining us here on PM Express tonight. Tonight, we're having a conversation about cement prices. As you know, the trade minister has gone to Parliament. We got to know about it yesterday with an ally, a legislative instrument that will essentially control the prices of cement on the market. As you may have noticed, cement prices on the market have been fluctuating, mostly going up. And these hikes have become a cause for concern for ordinary people who are looking to own a home in these countries' great ambitions to bridge that housing gap, the housing deficit. So it's really a big policy issue that the Trade Ministry wants to take on through legislation. But there's been some controversy around this. The cement manufacturers are opposed to this, and only today they've written to the Speaker of Parliament asking the Speaker to indeed back them in their opposition to this particular legislative instrument. They want the House to decline to entertain this legislative instrument. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about it with the Trade Minister, Alhaji Kwabena Tahiru Hammond. You know him as Katie Hammond. And you notice that I've added a title to that name that you're very familiar with because he just returned from Hajj. The legislative instrument. Yeah. First of all, what is it?
Yeah. Number one, Parliament is on the side of the people. So Dr. Dawson and his group cannot ask Parliament to be on their side.
Dr. Dawson is the head of the Cement Manufacturers Association.
Yeah, he wrote the letter, the petition or whatever. He wrote it, he engineered it, wrote it, signed it, and then sent it to Parliament. You read it, it's all full of insult. You know, I mean, it's insulting me, but it's part of the business.
So what is this legislative instrument?
Evans, cement manufacturing, sale, and all that goes with the cement production in the country has become a monumental issue for all of us. I have been worried, been very much worried, not since I became a minister, but for a very long time now. I've been very anxious about the pricing of cement. First it was the production of cement, because we started with the GASEM. I think in those days GASEM was the only company with some monopoly over production and sale of cement. And along the line, we had all these other companies coming in. But I had been very anxious about the production, the quality, and of course pricing. Obviously, I have had the opportunity of being at this ministry, and for that matter, basis to be able to settle some of the matters that have troubled me considerably. So we started with the quality of the production of cement that have been produced. So you recall that in our LI, I think a recent one, 2480 LI, I think, we came out with rules and regulations for the companies who intend to establish in the country. How is it that will require, the standards that will require of them, produce cement to the requisite international standards. So we came up with that. And we are still facing challenges. Some companies, as I've heard in recent times, are still producing substandard cement. And so Ghana Standards Authority is on the back of these companies, ensuring that they do the right thing, go by the regulations that we have stipulated in that LI. So that is the production side. Now, having produced the cement, the new concern that Evans, I am confronted with is how much cement is sold for. Cement is like petroleum. Cement is becoming.
I mean, if you don't mind, on the bit of the quality, yes. What did you achieve with that?
Well, the companies are becoming compliant. There were recently 3 or so companies that were closed down. We actually were closed down, and then we gave them the opportunity to pull their socks. We tested, and the information I got from Ghana Standards Authority, which I said is in charge of is that they are doing well. And so we've allowed them to produce. But we are monitoring. We got our people, officers in there monitoring what is it that they are doing. If they default again, we will close down these companies. So that's working.
So those 3 that were closed, I remember that.
Yeah, you remember this?
Yeah.
It was all over
they
the place.
they remain closed.
So don't know. I think they started production because I think they are now using the proper quantity of clinker, the mixture. I think they are doing the right thing, at least as far as my information goes. They are doing the right thing as of now. But as I said, we are monitoring because I'm told that there are also some shenanigans that they go through. I mean, to make sure that they cheat the system. So
by putting substandard cement on the market,
that's mixing this, and even the labeling, it's all a matter that of concern to us. So we're observing. If they default again, we'll take action.
Okay. So you haven't dealt with that.
Yes.
Now we want to move on to price.
The pricing. You know, so I did indicate that, like a petroleum product, cement has become a kind of sine qua non. In your interaction, you laid bare, I mean, the importance of fundamental significance of cement in everything that we do. State agency, infrastructural construction, the roads, the bridges. I can't imagine any infrastructural construction that takes place in the country, well, let's talk about Ghana, without cement. So there is the real risk, and it has been a real considerable risk that advantage has been taken of those who patronize the product, for that matter, governments, and of course the ordinary citizens of the country. And I have been very uncomfortable. I have not at any occasion observe a decline in the prices of cement. It's always heading northwards, never towards the south direction. So after we put together this committee under the LI that I mentioned, of the manufacturer of the cement, I put a committee which was to superintend over all the activities that I have indicated. The committee consists of representatives, institutional representation, some from all over the country, interested groups, stakeholders. They are all effectively represented on that. So the decision was that whatever role, not so much of role, whatever it was in the interest of the nation, in the interest of everyone, including the stakeholders, which required that the committee sat on it, adjudicated, and came out with some decisions. I would ask them, I would expect them constantly to monitor, sit and reflect on those matters, and then report to the ministry. That's a remit of the committee. Now, a part of it is also to look at the pricing. So in recent times, when there's a hike, the other things started coming about, manifesting the pricing, hiking started manifesting itself. I invited all of them, I mean, including the Ghana Cement Manufacturers Association, Dr. Dawson and his group. I invited them to the conference room here and then explained to them what I thought was in the interest of the country, what I thought was in the interest of the citizens of the country, what I thought was in the interest of the general economic health of the country with respect to this cement pricing. I wanted us to have a uniform kind of cement pricing, just like we have with the petroleum industry. Indeed, I introduced this unification thing that you find in the cement in the petroleum industry when we were at the Ministry of Energy during the Kofo's time. And so that is how it came about that when you go to Bolga, a liter of petroleum product sells the same price as it is in Accra here, it is in Kumasi, it is in Obuasi, all over the country. It is some system that we put together. I mean, Unified Petroleum Pricing Fund, as a fund which has been put together, which is deducted out of the same your price build-up. So I thought that because cement plays almost the same role, I mean, at par with the petroleum, we could replicate that sort of arrangement. So they should be thinking about it. given them since the time that this thing came into effect about last year up to now. They haven't come up with anything.
So this meeting was last year?
This about, I mean, last year, yes, last year, this year, shall we say beginning of this year? Yes, a few months now.
So you wanted them to go and work down, and come you with a proposal.
And then they report on
that. And that committee included the cement manufacturer?
Yes, of course, they actually a member. The cement manufacturer, whatever, they are a member of this. Let me give you the lineup of the committee. They are look, 7. The Chamber of Cement Manufacturers of Ghana, a member nominated by the Chamber itself. It's an institutional representation. So I said it's made up of people from trade and industry, one here, and then science and environment, environmental protection agency, Ghana Institute of Engineers, Ghana Association of Industries, nominated Chamber, and so Chamber of Commerce. It's number 7 in the list.
But Chamber of Commerce. It's not the...
forgive me, no. Chamber of Cement, no. Chamber of Commerce is a different one.
Okay.
So this is the 7th, the Chamber of Cement Manufacturers of Ghana, nominated by the Chamber itself. I don't nominate it. So the nominated person on the committee is Dr. Abwad Olsen.
Okay.
He himself, who is represented. So I asked them to deal with this matter. Number 2, I also charged them to make sure that their prices are published. Their prices are published. So originally, we should understand the variation, the dichotomy. How is it that it is sold at this place at this, and it is sold at this and that? Whatever it is, let us see a monthly publication of their prices in the local newspapers, whichever papers that they choose. Let us see it. Again, it hasn't come to anything. In the last few weeks, I traveled a bit. I traveled with the president, I traveled to China, and then, of course, I took leave to attend to this religious thing. Now, before I left instructions that I am not happy with the escalation in the cement pricing. So the committee by its construction is chaired by the chief executive, Director General of Ghana Standards Authority. That's how the committee is. That's how it is
constituted.
It's constituted and chaired. So the chairman of this where is it? I just took you through. So I called him to my office. My instructions were pretty clear. The representation ministry, and then the director General, it's chaired by him. Get this matter sorted out. Let me understand. By the time I come back, I would want some concrete development. Then I heard in the grapevine that you were literally teasing me. The minister couldn't do it. Nobody can resolve this matter of cement pricing.
Who was teasing you?
Well, those people I asked. The
committee?
Not the committee.
The cement manufacturers?
The manufacturers and those around it. To the extent that I called 2 of the executives to this office. So why do you think that the minister is powerless to control? They denied knowledge about the suggestion, but I still got some feedback that wasn't matter to laugh about, but that the view was that what was the minister able to do?
So they're teasing you that you've lost control?
Well, not so much losing control,
but control.
But it can be controlled. I mean, it's a free economy, so anybody does what they want. I understand. We operate a free economic system. That's not command and control, whatever system. My understanding of free economy is not freedom to cheat, to fleece the people. I don't get that impression. I've always maintained that that's what economic enterprise is all about, freedom of trade, freedom of commerce, and whatever. But you achieve your interest, your profits, you accrue your profits within reasonable means. You don't make senseless, absolutely unreasonable profit at the expense of the citizenry.
So at what point then did this conversation with them then translate into an LI?
Okay. So the minister simply has been given the directives. I mean, directives has kind of has only moral authority behind this. It's given this thing.
Because you directed them, I remember, when the prices hiked.
You remember
before you travel,
so
that they should reduce it.
My instructions, my understanding.
They called your bluff.
They called literally.
Yes.
Literally, you can't. What is it? It's
Yes.
okay. So okay. Well, there are rules. There are laws. We operate by the Constitution. We operate by other laws, other regulations. So, well, the best avenue for regulation of this matter is Parliament. Let's be conscious about this. At a time when we had just about one company, which I said was GASEM, pricing, I think it was a kind of monopoly, a complete monopoly or so. As I talk to you, we have 15 of those companies, 15 cement manufacturing companies. The installed capacity, I think it's about 18.5 million metric tons per year in this country. That's the installed capacity. But what they are producing, it's about 8.5 million or so million tons. It's what they are producing. So it's not like it's a useless. It's not like it's not non-profitable establishment that they have engaged in. I take it that if it was that bad, there wouldn't be that clamor for all these companies to come in. We received a few more applications under the new regulations that were promulgated. Who want to companies which will want to establish more cement companies. So I thought, well, if it is only a matter of moral authority which underpins what I'm telling these guys, instructions and directives I'm giving them, well, I may as well do the right thing and then get to Parliament. So I asked my officers put together an LI, to regulate the pricing, so that we'll all be at peace. That's what I've done.
And the object was to achieve price uniformity.
Price. Eventually, we'll come to that.
Okay.
Because you see, look at it from this angle. Jatta cement, I don't know what goes into the pricing methodology, the factors that would go into Jatta cement, I wouldn't know. What will go to GASEM, I wouldn't know. What will go to all these other 15 companies, I wouldn't know. I don't quite accept that their cost factors are universal. I'm not sure that that's eventually what the case would be. For the moment, because we have not been able to establish the unified system that I talked about, and I asked them to put in place. This has been about 6 months now, almost immediately after this thing came into effect. I think this one came into effect in, yes, it's here. Gazetted on the 23rd and came to effect 22nd of December 2023 was when this LI came into effect. And when I launched it, and when I commissioned the committee, the committee here and launched this one, I gave them clear instructions, clear directives on what I wanted them to do. And these were part of the things that I gave them. 6 months down the line, nothing. As I said,
So for the airline,
yes,
it would have controlled prices.
Well, I can actually tell you. I mean, I don't want to tell
by
you
doing what? So
it's only a short one. It's only a short one.
The prices that they'll be charging on their cement bags.
Well, that's right. So what we're asking the LI will be asking the committee as a committee. No, it's not a different committee. It's mandating the committee established under this one. Yes, to take charge of that. And what they will be doing is this: make sure that there's an upper band within which.
So you are establishing a price ceiling.
Yes, a ceiling kind of thing within which they should operate. But we simply are not going to give you a band. The band will be there, but we're going to be very specific with your company. We're telling you by this that let us understand your pricing factors, your cost structure, and then based on that, everybody understand. Let there be transparency. Let us know. Of course, there will be this publication that I've told you about. But of course, to arrive at how much you want to charge, let's understand what.
But within the price ceiling.
Of course, within the price ceiling. So it's a very short one. I would read it to you how we're supposed to come by the ultimate price. So price regulation, it will be regulation paragraph number 4, and it says this: the committee shall, as a committee, in establishing the maximum allowable retail price for cement, consider the following. Okay. And the consideration would include A, the ex-factory price of cement, ex-factory, and then the cost of the preparation of the production account for the sale of cement, all the cost factors. The cost of transportation of cement, then related costs. There'll be so many other related costs. And of course, this is a critical one, a reasonable profit margin. I don't think it is absurd to suggest that you should have a reasonable and not outrageous profit margin. So these are the factors that are going to be taken into consideration.
So now we have clarity on what this legislative instrument is.
Yes.
I'm going to take a quick break. When I return, we'll now interrogate the specifics. Now we know.
Yes.
If you don't know, you can't really interrogate it.
Yes.
Now we know. We'll interrogate it when we return. Please stay with me. My guest is still Katie Hammond, who is a trade minister. And thank you for staying with us here on PMX. We're having a conversation with the Trade Minister, Katie Hammond, on his attempt to get Parliament to approve a legislative instrument that will regulate the prices of cement on the market. So just before the break, you've now have broken down the text of that legislative instrument. Now, the cement manufacturers say you did not consult them. You concede?
No, how could I? I mean, in my introductory remark, I told you, I mean, how that particular individual who signed the document is posited centrally.
But that was in reference to taxing them to come back with proposals.
That was.
But when you were drafting the legislative instrument, were they consulted in drafting the LI?
I don't quite get it.
The LI you read to us.
Okay, listen to this. I'd told them specifically what to do in respect of this on price, and I've also told you the feedback I got.
Yes.
About this, you supplied the missing link. You told me they called my bluff.
Your bluff?
They called my bluff. Yeah. What I'm saying that I should call them and tell them that I was making sure that they got the message clear and loud.
Now you're moving from a directive to a regulation.
Yes.
You definitely needed to consult them.
Then to do what? What was the constitutional basis
for that? To get their
input
into
that word, the pricing that I'd warned you against. I'd warned you consistently that you couldn't do what you were doing. This price, the association. I'd actually always thought the association was on the part of the citizenry. That's been my assumption. I got the impression from the letter they wrote quite clearly that they are part of the manufacturers and they're really not part of
but you know, I mean, you've been in Parliament for so long.
Yes.
That the legislative process always includes consulting stakeholders.
Well, no, it's nothing like that.
The legislative process, the drafting of it, at least you need to consult before it gets to Parliament.
Well, if it's a convention, for whatever reason you want to consult the generality of those who are affected. Now, in this context, the people who are affected would be the generality of Ghanaians, the ordinary citizens.
But
Ghanaians,
also include the manufacturers, because they also be affected because of the price. If it doesn't reflect the cost of production, then they will lose.
Well, that's fine. So I read the particular paragraphs to you. This is how it's going to be priced. They would have to be transparent, sit down with a committee and explain to them how do they lose.
You always used to tell me that you didn't believe that you needed to consult them in drafting the LI.
Well, no, I don't have to consult them in drafting the LI. No, by the same token, Parliament doesn't order me the way the committee is petitioning the Parliament to do it.
But the petition Parliament, you've seen the petition.
Yeah, of course I've seen it.
One of the fundamental points is the lack of consultation. But second, they make a more fundamental point. That the hikes we've seen in the price of cement is a reflection of the current economic realities.
No, with the specific reference, not all the real. I think with the specific reference to the CD.
Depreciation of the CD.
Who is disputing that?
And yes. Yeah. So it's not their fault that the prices of cement is climbing on the market.
Once the two of us don't disagree on this matter, that is why we say that let there be transparency. There has been depreciation, we accept it. To what extent? How much? As I talk to you, I'm getting them the information. And that's why I kept this in here, even though it's been a nuisance, it's disturbing us. I got the information just as we started speaking that GASM is increased. The cement, a bag of 42.5, the regular, by 2 cities. And so I think they are now selling, this is what I have here. GASM 42.5 regular, it's 117 to 120 cities in Kumasi. CMAF is selling 32. They have different grades. You know, 32, they are selling it between 105 and 110 cedis Kumasi. In Accra, Gassam is selling 32 regular at 97. CMAF is selling 32 regular at 90. Look at the gap. Look at the differentiation. And then, of course, the others. I've got these other ones here. Forward 90 cedis. That was a word I used before you came back on air. I wouldn't do that. Yeah. But the point simply is this, that we cannot have this massive differentiation, which for
because
some of us
the CD to the dollar now is 15 CD plus to $1.
I asked and I was told about it.
Yeah.
So again,
that is why the prices you're quoting are like that.
So again, so what? Has there been depreciation of the CD within the minute that we started talking?
Well, the CD constantly is changing and depreciating. The stability has been a challenge the last couple of weeks.
Well, last couple of weeks, it doesn't blow by the direction of the wind. I don't believe that just when we started talking, there has been a reason why Gassam, or for that matter, any company should increase their price by that margin. But the reality is very clear. We all accept it. The city hasn't been performing greatly of late because of all the exogenous factors that you and I are all aware of. But that's not the point. We accept that there's a difficulty. But let's understand the pricing mechanism. Just the same way that in the petroleum sector, we're asking them, let them understand. So we have the MPA, which regulates it, and so everyone knows what is the basis for the pricing.
But the
that
LI you proposed, which you read, is not only seeking transparency, it's seeking to impose a ceiling, a price ceiling on them.
Which will be arrived at after the consideration of all the factors that are to control.
So you already know the factors that they use in calculating your price. You know, you know already.
What do I know? Their private margin on the price that I've just told you.
But that's something you could have achieved through consultation.
But Evans, this is where we're going to have a difficulty. You are either not concentrating or you are consciously being.
But you want to be difficult.
No. I've told you consultation. I consulted with them several times in my office here, conference room here. It's on the second floor. I called them on the day of inauguration. I told them what I wanted. Thereafter, I called them again. Later on, when I heard that they were making mockery of the directives I'd given them, I called them back here on a simple matter of price publication and then price self-regulation by themselves. I've been going on and on and on and on. It gets to a point when something has to be done. And what has to be done for me within the law is to get to Parliament. The point is that I cannot be accused of not consulting with them or consulting them.
But in the meetings with them,
yes.
Did you ask them to break down for you how they calculate their margins and what goes into that? Specifically,
you talk about specifically. Let's talk about generalities. You are the cement manufacturers. This is how much you sell in this thing all over the country. The nation is not happy. For now, the minister responsible for this, I am not happy. I want some transparency. I don't understand why you are selling at that. All right, you want to understand some specifics. On one occasion, they gave me a spreadsheet. This is that, this is that, this is that. We went through, I put my concerns across. Yes, I see your concerns over here. How do you explain this? How do you explain this? I mean,
so they gave you the specifics.
Well, yeah, but it does satisfy me. If it did satisfy me, then I'll be happy that they can sell at 200 cedis per bag or whatever. But in the end, I am saying that you explain it to me, the non-technical. I've put together a committee which has the technical acumen, the technical expertise. Sit down with this committee, let there be transparency, let understand the input, the cost input, and then in the end, we will know how much of it is marked off as your profit. Nobody complains about fleecing the
So you
population.
believe that LI will now compel them to
if they won't, they decide not to comply at the peril of the penalty.
What penalties are you proposing?
Well, it's pretty hefty.
Well, that's what I would like to know, yes.
No, I'll tell you, 3 years imprisonment, or both, of fine and imprisonment. So, yeah, a person who contravenes what I've just indicated to you is liable conviction to the penalty points. We're talking about 2,500. The unit points, I think the multiplication of 12 or something is 2,500 penalty units, you convert that, I think it's 12 cities or whatever. So how much that one comes to is the fine. And then maximum 4,000 penalty units. Or that's what see, these companies, they are big ones. And so if you limit them to fines, they will easily pay the fines and then come back and replicate the same whatever they want to do. So there's a stiffer one here. Now, imprisonment of not less than 2 years, and of course not more than 3 years, or both, fine and this thing. But we don't leave it at that. You know, corporate responsibility and corporate whatever. So you well be thinking that, well, you can't put a company into prison. And so we go on to make clear that if it's a corporate...
who specifically suffers this?
So here, you know, you want to hear...
If you can detail that part.
You want to hear that one?
Yes, I want
to. You're not a company director in any of the cement manufacturers.
For public education, yes. Who suffers that?
All right, so we have it here. In case of body corporate, every director and officer of that body corporate is deemed to have committed that offense, if it is the case that you have the offense. In case of a firm partnership, you know, the firms and partnership, they have a different categorization. Several member, management, the firm of medicine, any concern with the management of the firm is deemed to have committed that offense. So,
so the manufacturers then will bear
yes.
this penalty.
Yes,
that's
individual, not the company.
Individual. So
yeah.
for
the fine,
the directors
company,
of the manufacturing company.
Yeah,
so if this is an example,
sure.
if it is the Jata manufacturing company,
sure.
the directors, if they put out cement on the market at the price above the price ceiling,
exactly, the ceiling.
Then they will.
And you see, the ceiling, and I think we should be comfortable about this. The ceiling is not going to be unilateral. I mean, the company isn't going to sit down there and tell them, without a proper calculation of these factors that I've mentioned, that you're going to have to sell at this. No, they're going to sit down with all of them. Well, yes, we're taking account of this. We know this. We know the CD thing you are talking about. This is how it is. This is how it is. Well, we think within this range, it is sensible for you to sell reasonably at this and make your margin.
Yeah, but Mr. Hammond, you are proposing to throw people in jail for pricing a commodity above a ceiling. That is that is backward. Many will put
that would respect in
an economy.
It's absolute nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. I mean, the economy gets as ours.
Price control.
It's absolute nonsense.
That's why you find a dictatorship.
Well, yes, you're entitled to your definition of event and of these factors. I think the good people of Ghana deserve better than is happening to us. Look, every item, and since I've been here, every occasion I've had the energy. I'm talking about prices of items. I mean, coming down and not coming down, and shooting up and shooting up. On the cement one, I think a cabal is building up. And because there's no control, it doesn't matter what they do.
But actually, price controls. In an you are a minister for a governing party that thrives itself on the property only. You are capitalist in your orientation. You believe in.
It's not unbridled. It's not unbridled capitalism. We don't believe in that. We are social democrats. We
believe in the forces of the market. The market forces.
But you see,
demand and supply. Why don't you allow that?
How do we allow it in this context when the few, companies which are in charge, which are in control of this, decide that they will let matters run amok? Well, government powerless.
But it's a solution throwing people in jail for charging prices.
No. You see, why are you interested? Why are you just interested in that and not in the fact that people should simply comply? There is a rage. I mean, petroleum pricing thing has been there since I was there at Energy Ministry. I mean, we left in about 2008.
You have a price liberalization regime.
Well, no. There is a price build-up. There's a mechanism for the price build-up. Nobody does it. When you go to Tamale, do you see anyone selling more than what is allowed within a particular window? Why are you concerned about this particular one?
Well, but even on the petroleum sector, you know, the MPA it's a liberalized regime.
What is the liberalization?
OMCs every 2 weeks decide to play within.
No, they don't decide to play. No, there are very clear rules. There are very clear rules what they can do. They play with the figures within the allowable margin.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Remember even there,
Yes.
the MP wanted to propose a price floor,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
became
the floor.
very, very controversial.
Well, yeah, the floor, but I mean, I'm not interested in the floor. The floor, if you want to give it for free, we'll all be very happy.
Yes.
So it's not matter of the floor. It's the ceiling that troubles me. You see, so why are you saying that I'm going to throw you into prison when laws must go with sanctions? I mean, other than that, why do I go to this extent to make sure that there are these regulations? But let's be clear about this whole concept of liberalization
Yes.
and the free market economy.
Yes.
I have made a point. Free economy, liberalization is not untrammeled desire to make nonsensical profit at the expense of the ordinary person. Everyone is looking to buy cement. You want to buy cement? You buy cement, this project, and because of the need, they decide to price it at whatever level. I think there must be some sanity. Don't worry so much about somebody going to jail or whatever. Why do you have to go to jail? Well, there is a commandment in the Bible, don't steal. It's there in our code, don't steal. If you don't steal, you go to prison.
But why
so I'm not worried about, why are you not worried about those things?
Why don't you simply fix the economy?
You see, again,
which is a fundamental point.
Again,
the association is making
wait a minute. How do you fix the economy? We say we are not fixing it. We're fixing it within the context of what we can. Listen to me. We've got to be very careful about this mantra of a free, liberalized economy and all of that. In developed economies like the Western economies, Britain, America, and this thing, we have the Quangos, we have these committees, we have all these consumer commissions, name them. They monitor these companies. I mean, antitrust. Some companies are simply taken over and broken down. I mean, you talk about free economy, liberalized economy. Which economies are so liberalized than the Western ones? But I'm telling you, you know it, I mean, more than anyone does that. It gets to a point when the government sets in. The government doesn't just allow things to run, companies to run route. It just doesn't happen like that. When it gets to a point when the nation, those in authority believe that even though this is a liberalized, this is a free economy, people are taking advantage of the system settles in.
But you concede that the real solution to the problem is fixing the economy, which is the primary responsibility of your government. On
the flip side, no, don't talk about it. Don't talk about specific government. We're talking about generality of government. I mean, every government elected is supposed to fix the economy.
True, but
I've given you the example. I've given you the example of these Western countries. You would have thought that
economies are performing well. The currency is undepreciating, such as ours. They don't have the inflationary pressures that we have currently. If you fix this economy, the price of cement prices will come down.
The point you're making buttresses rather my point. Even though those countries have stabilized the economy, they don't have the depreciation to the extent that you talk about. They have established these Quangos I'm talking about. They have these commissions, the Consumer Protection Agency, Consumer this, and to do exactly what I'm talking about.
They don't have price controls.
But you see, you call it.
The UK does not have.
You call it control. The price control.
The US does not have a price.
No, the price control is sell this in by 20 Guangguo. Tomorrow, this evening, it's announced. Tomorrow morning, sell this and that. I haven't said this. This document doesn't say that. It says that within a range, just like the petroleum pricing, this is how it's going to be done. You cannot just simply go to England, go to America, set up anything, and don't let us be very spiteful. We'll get into trouble. You know what I'm talking about. America, this can't be done, so they won't let this be done. Isn't can Ghana claim to be so much of a liberalized economy than Britain, than America, than whatever? But what I'm telling you do exist in this country. So I don't see anything outrageous, extraneous, extraordinary about the policies we are putting in place. So let's try it and see. Let me give you some food for thought. Something you would be very happy in reading, in considering. I tried recently to again legislature and LI for the importation of
restrictions on setting imports.
The NDC guys in Parliament were up in arms. Minority, the leadership and all them, they were up in arms. You were here. This is very recent history.
Yes, yes.
You know what happened recently?
Tell me.
Their leader, ex-president, former president, John Dramani Mahama, is on record. You can tell me what he said. Well, it's unlikely, the worst case scenario that he ever becomes the president of Ghana again. He would institute exactly what I tried and his bunch in Parliament prevented me from doing it. Now, I don't call it hypocrisy. You have a better description of this, so tell me what it is. So I don't know what the provisional view of this matter is, but of course, when we get in there and they start challenging me on this, we'll see what to do.
Yesterday, you tried to lead this. They raised fundamental issues. Procedural.
No. I mean, get this. That's why I was telling those people this afternoon. They got to be careful about it. No, I didn't try to lay. Yesterday, I spoke to the majority leader on what to do, but I've got this document to do it. And then he asked me if I had spoken to the minority leader. I said I hadn't, and he said, okay, let him know. I would also let him know. Because see, constitutionally, all that it takes in the airlines is to go to Parliament.
And let it start counting.
Say that they start counting. That's all there is to it. So all this about give this, let this person, it's in its very nature by Article 11 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, by the leadership, LI to be late.
That was your view, recall we had the conversation on the attempt last year to also, and you haven't succeeded.
Well, yet. No, you see that.
So the lessons there from this.
Evans, you said you haven't succeeded. It isn't because the other side has prevented me from doing it. We've got to be careful about some of this.
So what is the
They cannot for any reason prevent me from, it's unconstitutional. They can make all the noise on earth about wanting to prevent me from laying it. Constitutionally, no authority. The Speaker cannot prevent me. That's an entirely different matter.
So you've withdrawn it yourself?
That's a different matter. You won't force me to give you the reason.
No, but it's important, right?
No.
If it's not because of the opposition.
No.
Why is it not?
Well, sure. Whether I decide whether I give you the reason or not is a matter.
Did you withdraw it?
It's my discretion.
Did you
I don't intend to discuss it with you at the moment. But what is it that get it on record? The opposition cannot, the Speaker cannot, the Constitution mandates the procedure under which this is introduced. And that's what I intend to do.
So let me ask you then on this.
Yes.
Considering the opposition from the Cement Manufacturers Association,
yes.
How do you
I intend to ignore it.
I
am working in the interest of the good people of Ghana and not in the interest of the cement manufacturing company. Have you read the letter? I keep saying it's an insulting letter.
So
I responded to the person
when you
who
hope
wrote
to get this lead and counted?
Yesterday, after I discussed it with the leader and I discussed it with the minority leader, I am told subsequently that the Speaker asked the Select Committee on the legislation, subsidiary legislation committee to literally grant through. Look, how many pages are this? One. That's all there is.
Yes,
So
it looks like there's 5 pages at most.
So it's out of my hands now. I've given it to my leader, majority leader, to get it laid.
So you expect that in 21 days this should become law?
It should become law. Yeah, when we lay it. Today's what, Wednesday?
Today is Wednesday.
Wednesday. Evans. Thursday, Friday, I suspect that I have a funny feeling that on this occasion they won't be battling me about this. Because if you battle me on this, you are battling the good people of Ghana. I mean, the majority, every Ghanaian who is buying cement is complaining. The only people who are not complaining are the manufacturers themselves. And then, of course, the association which says that I didn't consult them. I'm putting on record that it is patently untrue. I consulted them, I discussed the modalities with them, I gave them
but
what
let's
to do.
be clear though,
Yes.
Mr. Katie Hammond. When you say you consulted them,
Yes.
you didn't consult them on the LI.
Well, I'm not sure if we're not splitting hairs on this matter.
You were clear earlier on the matter.
Yeah,
You said on the LI, you said you didn't need to consult them.
Well,
because you already spoke to them about
I spoke what the
taking their
details.
new initiatives.
Evans, the details of this, I told them what I wanted. Yeah. I wanted them to be transparent. I wanted there to be reduction. I wanted us to understand the basis and the publication and all that. Get this and let me know. And I was told that they said I couldn't do it. Yes. So there's a lawyer.
Then you went ahead and drafted it.
So go back to them and tell them that you said I couldn't do it, I'm going to do it. Hey, what is that? Evans, come on. This phrase that I heard used in this country a lot, I haven't quite understood it. Maybe crave your indulgence and they use it, even though I don't quite understand it. Cut me some slack or something. Is that what you say?
You want to cut you some slack?
Yeah, that's what you say. Cut me. Not you. Some expression I've heard it used. Cut me some slack. Whatever it means.
Yo, so you want them to cut you some slack?
What does it mean?
Well,
I'm borrowed it even though I don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure you are fairly familiar with
Well, if I was, I wouldn't be seeking your indulgence to use it.
Will you call them at all?
Call them for what?
The cement manufacturers. Would you?
You see, at the risk of repeating ourselves and getting sweaty about this.
Just asking.
No, what is there to call them about? I've told them the details of what is it I intended to do. What is it that I wish them to do? What is it that I implore them to do? They won't do it. Now I'm going to enact an instrument to get them to do the right thing. I call them to tell them what this will come out as law. They would have to comply.
I wonder, is this something that cabinet supports?
You think ministers sit out here, they just go out of frolic of your own, you do what you want to do, and your government doesn't support it?
Oh, it's just a question.
We are a responsible government, you know, responsible government.
So the cabinet is ruling support. Is it discussed and approved and cleared up?
We don't discuss cabinet matters out in the public, you know. So you see, when you go to cabinet, first day you are given the document. Cabinet secrecy.
For secrecy.
You know these things. So you don't.
But it's standard. Before it goes to Parliament, you would expect the cabinet would have discussed it. That is not secret. That it was discussed, and you've got the buy-in of the president himself, who chairs it.
You know, I wouldn't be drawn. I wouldn't be drawn on your comments.
That is Katie Hammond, my guest on the show. We will see how this plays out as he attempts to lay this for it to count 21 days. It becomes law if nothing stops it. Enjoy the rest of the evening.